Oh boy, is this something that we actually are going to be seeing in our lifetime sometime soon? As of course, some people are saying, yep, it's happening. As right now, we have some very interesting drone incursions that have just shut down the Belgian airspace. You heard that correctly. The drones are back. They never actually left, as of course, a lot of domestic American reporting on this is missing the fact and not correlating that what happened in the northeast of America last year is now happening to Europe, specifically around their nuclear sites and facilities, a phenomenon that has been happening for quite a while, as of course, geopolitically, we are closer than ever towards using nuclear weapons, whether they are just demonstrations and show of force. The Russians, the United States, all talked about and are implementing new forms of nuclear weapons, testing them. There have been many particular stories by high-ranking government officials throughout the years and decades highlighting how aliens allegedly have always intervened when the nukes are out. As of course, I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of these drones are over nuclear facilities. What in the world is happening right now? As of course, some people are pretty convinced that this is some kind of advanced tech. Other people are saying, no, these are fallen angels. These are demons. Other people are saying, no, these are aliens. What are they? We're going to do our best to try to get to the bottom of that in this particular video. And if you appreciate these deep down the rabbit hole videos that talk about international news, not just domestic news, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time you spend with us. As of right now, we are getting reports of Belgium airspace being closed. Why? Because of UAP, UFO sightings, as there have now been many prominent leaders in Europe saying, they're not drones. Stop calling them drones. The anti-drone check doesn't work. Surveillance of them doesn't work. Tracking them doesn't work. They transform, they disappear. They fly longer periods of time than consumer drones can fly up in the air, and they also are something that are major anomalies. UFOs, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons, or more, right? That's, of course, a lot of people, even Tim Pool was convinced it's the Russians. Now, circumstantial evidence does highlight how a lot of these drones over nuclear facilities flew over first in Japan, also not the greatest of allies with Russia. They're at odds and contesting and fighting over islands. Then it happened in the United States, that the United States, under the Biden administration, and now under the Trump administration, is financing and funding this type of proxy war against them. And now they're in Europe, as Europe is saying, well, the United States slowly backing out of this conflict, and Donald Trump making statements saying, yeah, let's just let them just fight. And Europe now coming into this larger role is now why there are drones over Europe. Now, is that proof? No, it's correlation. Correlation doesn't always mean causation. I think there's something bigger here. I think that's one possible hypothesis, but I don't believe in this hypothesis personally. I think there's something else happening here, as of course, a lot of these UFO, UAP drone incursions are highlighting how all the militaries on Earth are completely powerless to stop them. As a lot of people are like, shh, shut up, don't talk about it. And I'm like, we got to talk about this more than ever. There's the Brussels airport a couple hours ago, shut down, mystery drone incursion. What happened? What's going on here? As a lot of people are saying, this looks eerily similar to what happened to New Jersey almost exactly last year. And if you remember, if you were watching this channel a few months ago, I even predicted, I was like, look, everything that happened in Jersey, it's going to be happening here in Europe. It's going to come back again. These aliens are going to come back. And I said this a couple of months ago, and they are. You could go back to our YouTube channel, and you can watch our previous videos months and months and months ago. And we said, watch, these drones are not going away. People think they're going away, but they're not. Now, airspace, airports, nuclear facilities being highlighted here. Is, of course, the talk in America is highlighted over 30i Atlas. As still, NASA has not given over the images. There's conflicting information. Whether the propulsion changed of this space rocket, is there a correlation with these drones? So far, we have nothing concluding that. I do think one of the main reasons why we are seeing a lot of these drones is because we are closer than ever towards a nuclear war. There are now multiple recorded historical accounts from major mainlined big people within government, whether this is a PSYOP, whether this is Project Bluebeam or not. There are many government people saying aliens always intervene when we're very close to blowing each other up and have previously deactivated and stopped nuclear weapons from being used or deployed or even tested. That is kind of mainline thinking amongst the conspiracy crowd here. That's big. That's huge. As of course, Russia just declared that, we're considering detonating nukes based on Trump's comments. What? As of course, the Russians have been kind of bragging. Oh, yeah, we've been using and testing new advanced nuclear weapon systems, as they have a nuclear-powered cruise missile now that flies in low altitude, can't be detected, has a nuclear warhead on it, is powered by nuclear power, and can fly indefinitely for months, if not years. And the Russians are like, look what we got. The Russians are like, look at our nuclear Poseidon weapon that could create nuclear waste tsunamis. And Trump's like, you know what? We're gonna have our own nuclear test. How about that? As right now, Trump has called for the restarting of nuclear weapons tests. Now, some people within government are saying, no, this is just testing our capabilities, making sure everything works. Other people are saying, no, Trump is dead serious. Trump wants and will and is going to be launching and exploding nuclear weapons to see if they work. And with all of this happening, boom. Oh, more drones coming out of nowhere. Can't be stopped. Why am I calling them drones? More UAPs coming in out of nowhere. Can't be stopped, flying over long periods of time. Can't be detected. Can't be captured on film in some instances. Strange phenomenons. Surveillance systems go down. And everyone's like, what is it? I don't know. Huh? Excuse me. What do you mean, huh? The U.S. government lied to us about this, by the way. Last year, they were flying all over New Jersey in the northeast of the United States, and Donald Trump was like, as soon as I get into office, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Trump gets into office. He's like, he's signing the executive order. He's like, I'll tell you tomorrow. Carrie Ann Levitt came out, and she's like, it's the FAA. Go home. Shoot. And I'm like, it's the FAA? It was the FAA? FAA? Are you kidding me? There was a Louisiana governor that came out during their first meetings with the governors, like, hey, they're flying over to our nuclear facilities. You think that would be an issue? I don't know why it zoomed in, but my camera zoomed in. Anyway, I don't like it when it does that. You can see the welt I got on my head from tactical training yesterday. Anyway, the U.S. government lied, right? They didn't tell us the truth. They were saying, yeah, it's FAA. When the drones were flying over in New Jersey, the FAA was like, we don't know what these are. We can't explain them. We don't know what who these drones are, who they are. And now there's like PSYOPs, and now there's like propaganda pieces out there being like, oh yeah, it was a startup. It was a startup. That I don't buy that as well. As right now, the Kiev Independent is reporting how the Belgian military has been ordered to shoot down unknown drones over bases. Because they're flying over military bases, they're flying over nuclear facilities. Why? Because I have a theory about this I'm going to tell you in a little bit. As the Kiev Independent writes, the Belgian army has issued orders to shoot down unknown drones spotted over the country's military bases. Belgrade News Agency reported on November 3rd, citing Chief of Defense Frédéric Vraniša. The announcement follows 3 consecutive nights of suspicious drone activity over military and civilian sites in the country, including the Klein-Brogal Air Base. Belgium defense ministers Theo Franken said that the incident appears to be part of an espionage operation. Or is it just bebop aliens, interdimensional creatures and aliens that the U.S. government has secret alliances with that exist, especially underneath our oceans, that say, hey, no more blowing yourself up. No more nukes, as there are probably nuclear enrichment, nuclear bombs being moved around, put into position, being tested, getting ready. And people are aliens who are interdimensional creatures and entities who are living among us are like, you blow yourself up, you blow us. Stop it. We got to come underneath the oceans to tell you guys stop it. And now they're like, what are you guys doing? We're watching you. That's one hypothesis of what is happening here. Now, before getting into some of the more weirder, wilder hypotheses and theories, and playing into some of the more clips and the more kind of historical references of aliens stopping nuclear explosions, we wanted to quickly just remind you to sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up for that yet, what are you doing? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. Click the link down in the description below. We'll make this very quick. As of course, 3 master classes, 13 plus years of videos centered at helping you become the best, strongest version of yourself. A Telegram chat. I am in that Telegram chat now. We're having some very interesting conversations. You could join those conversations and a lot more and talk to me directly just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. 20 cents a day, $8 a month. It's absolutely nothing, but it means the world to us. And I'd rather be financed by you. All right, because other people are financed by countries and special interests. No, people are like, you're begging. I'd rather beg than be bought and sold for. And I am proud that I work for you. And vote with your dollar. And it means a lot to me that you do. LukeUnfiltered.com. Click the link down in the description below. Signing up is quick, easy, simple. See you there. And I will talk to you in the Telegram chat right after this video. Now, Trump testing nuclear weapons, Putin testing nuclear weapons, drones coming back over nuclear sites. I don't think it's a coincidence, right? I do not think it's a coincidence at all. Now, the Belgian military was ordered to shoot down any additional drones. The problem is they can't, and they're not able to. This order has been given in previous European countries a couple weeks ago. Right? A couple weeks ago, European countries are like, yeah, we got to shoot these things down. Let's shoot them down. And then they're trying to shoot them down and they can't. There's crazy video footage of the United States sending Hellfire missiles at some of these UAPs. And then they just kind of bounce off. Oh, nothing to see here. Shooting them means a declaration of war against potentially interdimensional beings that could be living among us underneath our oceans. I don't like that. I don't think this is a good move. Now, again, everyone's like, Russia. Now, Russia is flying some drones. No denying that. But they're flying them to, like, Poland from Belarus. Right? Poland's like, what the hell? We're going to shoot them down. They shoot them down. This is different, right? Because you saw Zelensky be like, oh, it's Russia. And then France were like, yeah, it is. Let's go after their freight. Let's go investigate all the Russian ships in the area. They did. They boarded some with their special French forces, and then they're like, oh, wow, we haven't found anything. Oopsie daisy. As of course the Belgians like, it's Russia. And again, there's a possibility it is, but everything here just defies the laws of physics and science and our understanding of what's really going on here. Plus, it would be a very risky gambit for the Russians to be doing this, as there's a lot of videos these alleged UAPs. Now, again, you see some of the lights flying, right? You clearly do see what looks like weird type of devices. Now, if you're stealth devices, right? Like Russian drones, usually when they fly at night, they don't usually fly with lights, right? You don't see that many lights on top of them, but they are, and then they go over military bases, and then all the anti-drone tech just that they have developed that they're working on, all their lasers, all their EMP directed EMP weapon systems, all of them don't work, and they're like, what the hell? What the hell is that above us? And then people are just like, I don't know, I have no idea. Here's more images from the Brussels airport. Large drone disruption stops domestic and international flights here. And here's the image. I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think this is, right? Because again, it's kind of weird that the lights are just on, right? Why would you be like declaring yourself? Now, if this was just a device that was meant to like sabotage and spy on people, it would not have any lights, right? If it was meant just to collect data, collect information, right? There's other more important ways to do that. You could do that with satellites. These drones with the lights, I think, are meant to send a specific message out there. as just a few weeks ago, the Prime Minister of Denmark did a national address, be like, yeah, there's mystery drones. We don't know what they are. We don't know what in the world's going on here. But yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff flying up in the sky. Good luck, guys. As the Jerusalem Post has a very interesting article talking about how a former NASA astronaut gained notoriety with his dissemination of various conspiracy theories since his return from the moon in 1971. And, of course, one of them was that aliens have prevented nuclear war. And it's not just NASA astronauts that are saying this. A lot of other government officials. As, of course, Edgar Mitchell, part of the Apollo 14 mission to the moon, came out and said he was the sixth man on the moon. And he said he's convinced that they are aliens and that these aliens are responsible for preventing a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. This as the United States and the former Soviet Union, Russia, are now dusting off their nuclear weapons once again. Drones show up out of nowhere, not a coincidence. Popular Mechanics. The Pentagon is investigating UFOs that possibly turned off warheads. Former Air Force officers say they encountered the objects near U.S. military bases. Of course, one of the first drone sightings that we reported on way back, even before the whole New Jersey drone scandal, before it became mainline news, we were telling you guys, hey, there's a drone incursion in the UK with these drones going over a U.S. military installation that cannot be stopped, that are penetrating our airspaces and our defensive systems. We reported on that before anybody else, and then the whole New Jersey drone thing became kind of crazier and crazier. As a former U.S. Air Force personnel reportedly told the Pentagon about encounters with UFOs back in the 1960s. The officer says that in the 60s era, UFOs supposedly turned off nuclear warheads. The Pentagon has an official office for investigating UFO sightings. Yep. Multiple reports. CBS News had this article in 2010. Ex-Air Force personnel, UFOs deactivated nukes. Whatever the mystery lights in the sky were, they seemed to have an interest in our nukes. One of the most out-of-the-ordinary press conferences held in Washington this week consisted of former Air Force personnel testifying of the existence of UFOs and their ability to neutralize American and Russian nuclear missiles. UFO researcher Robert Hastings of Albuquerque, New Mexico, who organized the National Press Club briefing, said that more than 120 former service members have told him that they have seen unidentified flying objects near nuclear weapon storage and testing grounds. The United States is going to be testing their nukes soon. Yahoo News. Retired USAF captain recalls UFO encounter, says aliens turned off 10 nukes. Former U.S. Air Force officer Robert Sales recently stirred controversy during a congressional hearing when he suggested that extraterrestrials are trying to send a clear three-word message regarding nuclear weapons. WTF! As, of course, Donald Trump is going to now restart nuclear weapons testing. The Russians already have. This was reported all the way in the start of this year, and I reported on this right away, as the governor of Louisiana says drones spotted over nuclear power plants. Drones spotted in Europe, also over nuclear power plants as well. As History.com has an article here. Why have there been so many UFO sightings near nuclear facilities? It started in the 1940s near A-bomb development sites. Most recently, something has been stalking nuclear carrier strike groups. And of course, we have this Daily Mail article. The haunting connection between UFOs and American nuclear weapons is laid bare in fascinating new study, which concludes they're trying to stop us from annihilating ourselves. Now listen, if you are a group of other forms of life and intelligence, and you see, like, hypothetically, we're humans. There's a bunch of, like, orangutan and monkeys, chimpanzees and orangutans, right? Deciding to play with matches and gasoline. In like a forest where there are forest fires. Humans are going to be like, One, humans are either going to try to wipe them out because they keep creating matches and fuel out of nowhere. Two, we're just going to take it away from them, stop them from using it, and stopping them from hurting everyone else in the vicinity because it's going to affect us. That, in my opinion, is actually the most probable scenario of what's happening here with outside forms of life that are intelligence that are seeing human beings try to blow themselves up that will blow them up. And they're like, stop it. I think that's the most likely scenario here. What do you think? Is it advanced tech? Is it the Russians? Is it outside or is it inside? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for signing up to lookunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/We Are Change.